Hello everybody, Shelly here, and I have this BH Lunar New Year palette that still has its protective sleeve on it, but it is so colorful and it kind of reminds me of the Carity Picante palette. Let me find it here, hold on. I feel like it's maybe a combination of this one, and isn't there a Morphe palette that's like the lipstick neck Morphe collab? Let's see if I'm right, if I'm going by memory here. Let's see, what do we have here? Oh, okay, you know what? They're different, they're similar, but they're different. So on the top, I have the Carity Picante palette, no greens. And in the bottom, I have the BH Cosmetics Lunar New Year palette. Your most prosperous year is here. Good luck and glow up, it says. You know what, here's the thing. Some companies were, breaking things open here. Some companies are quick to get involved in every possible opportunity they can, and some like building awareness to it, and I don't really have an opinion. I'm not Asian, even though my online persona is Shelly Tsunami. I'm not Asian at all, but that doesn't mean I can't use this palette, right? Who doesn't want like a new year, a new beginning, a reboot, a fresh start? Anyway, there are some colors in here that are a little scary. I mean, bright reds, bold acid greens, fiery coppers. We're gonna do 3 looks with this palette and see if there isn't anything a lady of a certain age wouldn't leave the house in. So let's get in here. I think I kind of want to break it down by rows. That's a lot of shades though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 21 shades. I mean, I'm probably not gonna use all 7 shades in a single look 3 times over, but we're gonna start with this one right here, which says it's called, I can't read it. Super pale writing on a black background, and it's just not helping me out here. I did not put any eyelid primer on. I may regret that decision, or I may on a subsequent look do an eyelid primer, because I thought, oh well, I'm just jumping into it, right? And I probably should have primed my eyelids. Are you too far away? Let me zoom you guys in. The only problem with zooming in is sometimes the autofocus or the auto adjustment with the lights gets a little crazy. Thought, what better way to take a break than to do 3 looks with the palette that I don't think anybody's talking about. Sorry, I grabbed this palette, I don't know, a couple months ago, and it sat here forever, and I didn't hear any hype about it. I didn't hear anybody talking about it, and I think I kind of lost a little enthusiasm for it because nobody was talking about it, and I get that FOMO, you know, that fear of missing out, and I didn't have that with this palette because I didn't hear anybody else talking about it. Okay, this is weird because this palette, like, I wanted to use like an entire row, but I don't see that as like a cohesive look. Like, I see this as a look. I see almost, maybe even that's a little much. Maybe that, some of the glitters in here. It seems like there's a lot of glitter in here. I'm gonna regret this because of all the glitter. How do I do a look without even touching the glitter? Maybe the last one. The last one I'll use the glitter, which means I have to use the most vibrant one on my last look. I should have swatched these and come up with a plan before I started doing this. I think it's easy to get overwhelmed in this palette by all the crazy colors. So the first look I'm doing is one that we would actually leave the house in on like any particular day of the week. And I just went into this shade right here. I actually like BH Cosmetics formula. They do have a lot of kick up, which doesn't necessarily always bother me too much. I like that you kind of get what you expect. Like if you dip into a shade and you apply it, that's pretty much what you get on your eyes. And it doesn't take a bunch of effort to realize the color that you're looking for, if that makes sense. Like, you don't have to go in and build it 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 and then go, am I getting anywhere near the color that I thought I was getting? And I don't think you get that with this palette. So far, I've tried 2 colors. Okay, that's a lot of fallout. We're gonna go into this darkest shade right here. And we're doing it up against the lash line and just kind of layering it on top of that mid-tony kind of warm sienna orangey brown color that we did before. This is more of like a eggplant color. I almost feel like this eggplant color would be like my go-to shade in this palette. Like I think that I could pair so many other different colors with it and have it be really, really pretty and fun and different and unusual, and like that I think is my go-to shade here. All right, we got that applied. Let's do a shimmer shade on the lid. We're gonna do this taupey neutral in here. I still can't read it, so we're just going to press it onto the lid. Wow. You know what? Here's the thing. BH, I've said this before, BH and Profusion tend to be some of the more inexpensive lines at, say, Ulta. Makeup Revolution, BH Cosmetics, that kind of thing. Profusion, if you can find it. Those, they tend to be a lot of palettes for not very much money. And I forget how much the quality is just really easy to work with. I forget. If you are on a budget and you're not reaching for Natasha Denona, Pat McGrath, Charlotte Tilbury, you know, even Urban Decay, if you're not reaching for those, but you want to play with some eyeshadows, I really say check out BH. We're going to take this purple one down here along my lower lash line. Okay, that's pretty. We're gonna go more. We're gonna take this black too. Let's go all in. I'm just gonna use that on my lash line. I don't really have, I mean, other than some kick up and just that it is such a bold color story, I don't have anything negative to say about it. Put on some mascara and then we'll see how that goes. Let me do some cleanup and some mascara. Mascara's on. And this is perfectly fine. Even though this palette screams craziness, this is an everyday, completely normal, warm, neutral look. I have zero issues with this. What I have issues with and what I'm avoiding is the fact that I made lemon poppy seed muffin tops upstairs and I need to not be eating them. So I'm gonna take this off. I'm gonna come back with a second look. Be right back. Okay, back with look number 2, and I did use a little bit of the Gerard Cosmetics Clean Canvas Eye Base to kind of give myself a little bit of layer to see how this shadow performs. I feel like I'm gonna regret this, but I really wanna try this yellow here. It's kind of a mustardy yellow, almost like a sunshiny yellow. And I just wanna tap that onto that eye base and see. There are times where I think I will never wear just a yellow eyeshadow. And I know that last year, there was a time where doing a bold yellow or a single color eyeshadow was kind of a popular thing. And I think I did a pretty bold yellow look with, when I did the ColourPop Dream Big bundle. It was like a two-part video where I think I used like six palettes. I'm trying to remember to link it. This is one of those colors that this with some, either a black eyeliner or maybe a blue eyeliner might be kind of fun and edgy. I don't know, maybe, I don't know. I might be tempted to use this for something fun and different. I don't know. Would you use just that color? Okay. I'm gonna go into the color right next to it, which is not quite like, that's like a lipstick red. This is, and not quite a fiery red. This is more like a tomato red. We're gonna try the tomato red shade. Okay, on that yellow, it turned orange, which is kind of what, you know, you would expect, right? I'm gonna bring it all the way down in here. All right, I need to turn this into something that I might actually wear, and I'm a little concerned. I kind of want to use the glitters, but I know I've got other eye looks to do, so we're gonna take this. It's kind of almost like a burgundy color, almost like it's like a copper, shimmer. I hope I don't get to the point where I can't wear any kind of like a shimmer, a sparkle, a metallic or something on my eyelids. There's probably a point where it's going to be completely inappropriate, but right now I'm just kind of like excited about it. I'm going to grab a little bit more of that yellow just because I kind of want it to peek through a little bit up here. And I'm just grabbing some of the kick up so that it does look like kind of like that ombre, the different shades. I like it. I need to grab this bright red. That one right there. That is the brightest red. I'm a little intimidated about reds because I always wonder if that's going to make your eyes look like a rabid rabbit. Okay, that actually might be a very wearable red. This palette is kind of full of surprises. I'm going to go even more. I'm going to go in with this bright shimmery. It almost has like a little bit of a green tinge in the camera. I'm going to grab a little bit of it for right here. This palette has the 2 shades that I need to make a very, very wearable, usable palette. And that is, it's got a black and it's got a light bright white, and I thought it was my brush that was turning the color. It's not that it's a duochrome, but this white, even though it looked kind of greenish in the camera, actually has a beautiful like yellow undertone to it. And I didn't know. I didn't know that's what I was getting into. But as far as like a sunset look, let me put some eyeliner on and mascara and clean it up a little bit and see if look number 2 is something we'd leave the house in. Look number 2, and all of a sudden, while I think it's kind of edgy, there's something fun about it. If you are wearing a mask, or if you are doing something where you just really want to go out of your comfort zone, I might actually wear something like this. I wouldn't have thought, before I got mascara on, I would have been like, not for me. But as I see the colors kind of melded together, I'm like, shoot, okay, this is kind of fun. It's different for me. I don't mind it. It's crazy. All right, you guys, back for look number 3. A little worse for wear, but we're gonna get through this. I am so excited to be taking a break. It has just given me life and energy, and it's fun to experiment sometimes. It's fun to play with things that you maybe wouldn't normally do, and especially if you're not leaving the house and you can kind of just sort of get out of your comfort zone a little bit. Speaking of which, we're going into this bright acid green here, which seems insane, but I have a thought. So in about 2008 or so, I was divorced. I was buying the first house that was my house, like not with anybody else. No one else was on the lease. It was me. I was a single mom with 2 little ones. Pretty young. Like, I think my son was maybe like 2.5. So they were young, and I was buying a house. I had done all this work on this house. Like, I refinished the hardwood floors, and I restained them all by myself. I was super proud of that. Anyway, the furniture was like a very neutral color. And then, of course, with all the browns and stuff like that, I chose this kind of color of acid green, which looks absolutely insane on the camera right now. That was one of my accent colors. I had a few pillows that were like that, and the area rug was like this. And then I took a deep, rich eggplant as the rest of the colors and my curtains. And I think the walls were almost like a pale celery color. It sounds weird, and I'm probably not describing it very well, but how fun was that? I would probably go back and do that again. I'm going to take a little bit of this burgundy, for lack of a better term. I was going to use the mahogany shade, but I think it's a little patchy. So I'm going to take this and just lightly tap it in. This is me being really creative and out of my comfort zone. But I think what I've decided about this palette is it does challenge you. It challenges you to explore and create. Yes, you can do some simple looks. Yeah, and this is not extravagant by any stretch of the imagination, but it's kind of fun. I think you can do 1 or 2 shades. You've got enough mattes in here, a lot of mattes, 10 mattes. So half the palette is mattes, and then you do have a number of pressed glitters, 5 pressed glitters, and the other 6 are going to be shimmers. But I think you can match up 1 or 2 mattes and a shimmer for just some really simple but yet bold eye looks. It almost feels a little clown-like right now with the purple and the green, but we're gonna take this darker green right here, and that's gonna go right on the bottom part. And I might even bring it just a little bit more over that other color. Almost feels a little Mardi Gras-like. I probably could have used a gold and Mardi Gras. I say Mardi Gras, but I think they did Yardi Gras this year, where they didn't do like the normal plethora of parades. Instead, people decorated their houses like they were floats in their yards, hence Yardi Gras. I still would have loved to have been able to go down there and see it. I miss New Orleans. Clean off this brush a little bit. This is the one that I used with that purpley color. And I'm just going to kind of buff the green and the purple together a little bit, which sounds like it could end up being like an old bruise. You got to be careful about that, right? And then I'm going to grab a clean brush, go into this matte here I called it flesh toned. If you were gonna look at a Crayola crayon and grab the one that says flesh, that would be like this. Flesh is a weird word. There's a couple of words that people just don't like to say. I would imagine that flesh is one of them. I think moist is probably the other one that people kind of gag over. I know my kids do. My son gags if you make him say the word moist, or if he reads it. I think the only time he says the word moist is when he's trying to be disgusting, vulgar, and he's 16-and-a-half-year-old boy, so like where this is going, even though it's thoroughly, completely, crazily out of my comfort zone. I'm gonna ruin my night and I'm gonna grab this pressed glitter up here, and it shifts from green to red, and it is so pretty. Oh my word, it looks like snake skin. This is gonna be my new, like, going out crazy palette. Okay, you guys, don't use that shadow at home. Don't put it on your lids. I would say you probably might need a glitter glue because I've already got traveling down here. We're gonna try to cover that up a little bit. I like the way this looks though. Wow, how fun. Crazy. All right, you guys, I need to put some mascara and maybe a little eyeliner. I'm gonna go in, hold on, I'm gonna use this black in here. I'm getting this brush wet with setting spray, and then I'm going into the black in here up against my lash line. This palette feels so exotic now. Even though you have like some neutrals, right? You've got some warm neutrals, blah, blah, blah. But I think you need those to make a palette like super versatile. You could use them as your grounding transition shades. You can use them for, oh, I've got a Zoom like board meeting. I have to look boring. Bored, the bored part of boring. But then you've got, hey, I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna do something completely different and avant-garde. I'm gonna take this bright white that I used on the last look, that same kind of the brighter, whitest color. This is a go bold or go home. That white does have a little tiny bit of gold in it. It ends up working really well with that acid green. It's now mostly covered up with the glitter. Okay, I'm gonna clean this up, put some mascara on, and I'll be right back. I don't know what to tell you guys other than I'm really enjoying this. I'm gonna take that darkest green kind of on the little flat brush. It's the one that I had that acid green on before, so there might be a little transfer. But I'm just gonna take that on the bottom lash line. And I do have a little bit of that purple that I kind of drug over it, but I think this is gonna kind of finish out this eye look for me. Purples and greens, oh my. Okay, I gotta ask you guys, would you wear any of these looks out in public? Maybe the first one, because it was kind of just like your neutral, boring, whatever else. But I'm really digging this. I don't know why this all of a sudden has just inspired me, but it has. I think that this is a look that I would probably maybe wear on date night, now that we can finally, you know, eat in restaurants. Hopefully by the time this goes up, we're still able to eat in restaurants. Our COVID rates have dropped quite a bit, at least when I'm filming this. Who knows what it'll be like when I shouldn't laugh when we actually go to stick with my two times a week video uploads that I feel like I'm being relatively successful. This is fun. I am loving this palette, and when I first looked at it, I'm like, this is gonna be a challenge, and it is. It challenges you to get out of your comfort zone. And I have glitter in my hair. Oh my word. But it feels pretty. Yay! I feel exotic almost. I'm like Shelly exotic. I don't know if this is something that you guys are even remotely interested in. I got kind of caught up in the whole like Lunar New Year thing, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna take advantage of the fact that there's a BH palette out here, and I hadn't bought BH in so long. And I'm glad I did, because even though you probably aren't supposed to use the glitters, I think that really made this eye look flattering. Can I say flattering? Dare I say flattering? Fun, edgy, exotic, different. This might have to be one that I take on a tropical trip sometime, if I ever do. Go on a tropical trip. I'm babbling. All right, you guys. I hope you guys are doing really well. If you are new here, please hit the subscribe button. I would love to keep you coming back around. I'm going to do another giveaway at 400 subscribers. So the more the merrier. We like building our little community of ladies of a certain age. I'm not a makeup artist. I don't know what I'm doing half the time, whether it's makeup or otherwise. But happy to interact with you guys. I would love it if you'd leave me a comment and tell me how you're doing. And tell me about these crazy looks. The fiery sunset, the normal everyday look, or this purple and green persuasion. You guys, I hope you're doing really well. And until my next video, bye for now. Super pale writing. I like a dog hair on my brush.